come from Germany, and Germany, I had the pleasure to be in Berlin a couple of years ago, and I saw, and forgive me for my ignorance, but you know, you have all these issues of the previous war, then you have the two Germanys putting together, then I go to Berlin and everybody's a unified country, and everybody talks about something like a great achievement. I see like a so-called perfect society now, in the sense that, are we perfect, Germany? And then who do you think you are, Germany, to come, you, Bettina, to come to these countries to teach us what to do?
I really like your question, because it's all about the question, you know, who are we, and what's our attitude when we go to different countries, wherever we go, you know, and what is the so-called first world and the so-called second and third world? And as we all know, these expressions are not used anymore, rightly so. And I always thought it was very arrogant when I worked many years ago for Deutsche Welle, and we were 25, 26, and what did we know? We finished our university, and we had done some little radio things, and then Deutsche Welle sent us to Latin America to explain journalists in Colombia what journalism is. I mean, hello, don't you think that these journalists know much better? I mean, they live there, they speak the language perfectly, which we didn't do, and they have also learned journalism. So I hated that arrogance, which sometimes, we all have from coming from Western countries to Latin America or to Africa. And that sensitivity of who you are and the respect you need to show to your African or whoever counterparts is absolutely important. Is absolutely important, and I think that's one thing which guides me when I go to these countries. Is like, I can learn from you. I may have had the opportunity to go to more schools or whatever, or to travel more than you. That does not mean that I'm more intelligent or better or anything like that. And I think that respect, and I want to use that word clearly and often, is so important.
Bettina, si pudieras comentarnos lo que representa el cambio que ha tenido Alemania a lo largo de los años, el ejemplo que puede ser, la experiencia de haber vivido desde una Segunda Guerra Mundial, un país que después queda dividido en dos Alemanias, y la Alemania de hoy es un ejemplo de cómo pueden cambiar las cosas. ¿Cómo lo podrías describir como alemana para quienes no somos alemanes?
I think that we have managed to work with our past in Germany, and only German has a word for it, which is Vergangenheitsbewältigung. It's one of these long words where we put everything together. The very bad English translation is to cope with the past, but it's more. It's acknowledging your past. It's working on it, listening to it, addressing your past. So I think we took a long time in Germany to address our Second World War past. It was late, and I think the trial of my father, which lasted from 75 to 82, was late to address our past, but we did it. Yeah, the unification with the East is another big issue, but I must say I was born in the West. I never had family in the East, and for me, when I travel to the former East, I'm behaving like a tourist. I'm behaving like somebody. Oh, look how funny the houses, and it's strange. I lived like these are two countries, and then I think the unification, wonderful, great, historical. It had to happen. It happened. I think I'm a little bit critical sometimes about how it happened, because I think it happened very fast, with a lot of promises of quick money and, on both sides, wrong expectations. Why do we have all this right-wing people in the former East today? I think that's a big question, where things could have probably gone a little bit better. But I really think that the unification of Germany, we are still working on it.
Bettina, ¿por qué decides trabajar en Latinoamérica y en África principalmente y no en Europa? ¿Es un tema de justicia o es un tema cultural?
I think it's mainly my personality. As I said, I'm very curious. I want to learn about your country, and if it's very different from what I know, I'm even more interested. And then again, it's not only the interest, but it's also the conflicts. I mean, where can I possibly help, and where can I possibly have an impact?
Bettina, ¿tienes alguna experiencia en Latinoamérica que quieras compartir con nosotros?
One of my experiences which really impacted me a lot was when I was in Cuba in '93. And I was there for 6 weeks as a reporter, and had my little recording machine and was staying in a very cheap little hotel in Habana Vieja. And, went with my bag and recording machine, and I was attacked by a gang. By that time, Habana Vieja was really very peligroso, but, that's where I was. So they attacked me and pulled me in the street, but didn't get my bag because my bag had my recording machine. So after that, they left me in the street bleeding. I had to go to hospital. You can imagine in '93, the hospitals in Cuba, they didn't even have alcohol to clean my wounds. So I really was very miserable. A friend of mine from Madrid was sending medicine. The next day, I had to deliver a letter to Cuban friends because I didn't want to go back. And I delivered the letter, and the Cuban people, they saw me and they asked, "What happened to you?" And I said, I was attacked in the street. And then they said, "If you want, you stay at our house with the grandmother, the chicken, the daughters." And then they constructed, I had a little bed, which was next to the hall where the air condition was in before, but now they had 3 chicken. And there was a little mattress, and that's where I was sleeping. And then my story in Cuba changed totally. It was not that I was attacked. My story then became that family who invited me to live for 4 weeks with them next to the 3 chicken in the air condition. And at the end, I got so happy, and I asked them, "What can I give you to say thank you?" And the grandmother came to me and said, "Please, let's go together and buy a new tooth for me." So, the grandmother needed a new tooth, and, that was the biggest wish for her. And I remember I was, very happy to buy that tooth for this wonderful grandmother and this wonderful family, which really taught me what's happening in Cuba, much more than reporting about my attack.
Relacionado con el tema justicia, tenemos un tema cultural en Latinoamérica. Desde tu punto de vista, ¿nos hemos quedado atrás en ese aspecto o es simplemente un tema de instituciones?
No, I don't think. I think Latin America has some fascinating examples of, where local systems have taken over the duty to investigate and prosecute big crimes. Colombia is one of the examples where, together with the International Criminal Court, I think quite a bit has been done trying to address that. Venezuela, not yet. We we hope that one day they will address some of their
Brazil happened. In Brazil, it happened.
Exactly.
In a wholesale fashion.
Absolutely. And you have the truth commissions. You have the example of Comisión de Verdad, no? I mean, there were successful examples where look at Chile. Chile tried to address their own crimes. And so I think Latin America, no. They're very strong examples. Yeah.
Bettina, justamente en eso que acabas de decir de Latinoamérica, y creo que nos toca en especial a nosotros, ¿qué le dirías a mucha gente cuando ya uno está cansado de esperar a que llegue la justicia y el proceso es lento porque muchas veces es así, debe ser lento, o a veces simplemente porque no hay justicia? Acabas de nombrar, por ejemplo, Venezuela, que esperas que algún día llegue. ¿Qué se le puede decir a la gente que está esperando y que muchas veces se cansa? ¿Cuál sería tu mensaje?
I think civil society has a very important role to play. I mean, I saw your friend from Brazil the other week when he was telling about what he did in Brazil. It's fantastic. You know, it's putting your strength together as a citoyen, as a normal person, organizing yourself, working in non-governmental organizations, going to peaceful demonstrations. If you are a professor, you can do something at your university. If you are a lawyer, you can organize yourself in the bar association of your local laws. I think there are many things you should be doing in pressurizing the government and pressurizing a very often slow justice process to go that way. And we can go to vote, but I think, voting you do once every 4 years. In that time, you can organize yourself. I mean, now Black Lives Matters. Look what happened here in Berlin. My kids going to demonstrate, in Berlin. And I think these are very important ways of participating in a society in a positive way, not taking up arms, but, making your voice heard.
Bettina, I cannot miss this question. I think it's beyond the point of the foundation, but and then the society as a whole is being every day more skeptical about the media in general. Because either tend to be biased or tend to be for the left or the right, or tend to be overly negative. Can we have a positive journalism?
Yeah, definitely we can. And I know what you are alluding to is the fact that very often only very bad news are news at all. And if there are 3 dead people, that's not enough. But if there are 100, then it's worthwhile reporting about it. And it's unfortunately sensational media. That's the way it works. But I think there is a very important distinction to be made. You can be a very good quality journalist, so meaning you go for the facts, you need to be well informed, you need to know both sides of a story, and you can still go one step further and try to find solutions, try to propose, okay, we have that problem and that war or that conflict. How could we possibly get out of this? So it's not just reporting the war, the death, the damage, but at the same time, go one step further and report about, all right, how can you fix that now? Who can I interview to ask for a solution? It's already a journalist, the questions are already important. What kind of questions do you ask?
Yes,
if you ask how many people died, wow, you will get the answer. But if you ask, what could be a solution to that? It's very easy, and you get a different report.
Salud.
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 Bettina, si yo te pidiera que imaginaras que puedes viajar en el tiempo y escoges una época a la cual viajar y escoges una profesión para hacer, ¿a qué época te gustaría viajar? ¿Qué te gustaría hacer y por qué?
In fact, it's quite boring. I always, professionally, I always wanted to do what I do today. I'm one of the few people, who, when I was a child, I said I wanted to be a journalist and I wanted to have something to do with justice. So sounds boring, but I think the profession I have, although I have my own problems, which are mainly, the challenges of having a small NGO and the money and getting the funding, and we have not talked about that. That's also very boring, but it is a big problem for small NGOs. But in fact, I would really like to do what I do. I would like to see a little bit more justice. I would, I'm always very frustrated of realizing that, there are still so many huge problems. There are so many huge crimes committed in the world. So there's really, so much more demand for justice than what we can really fulfill. But again, as I said, I think you get your strength, professional and private strength, from being positive and trying step by step to improve, even if there are small goals. You start with the small ones. I was mentioning the training, and, hopefully you may contribute to the bigger ones.
Gracias, Bettina. Nos la tomamos en serio.
Salud. Nos la tomamos en serio.